Now, pour the tea.
Hello, and welcome back to Pour the Tea. I'm Alyssa.
Good afternoon. My name is Kia, but you already know that, so yeah.
Or maybe they don't, but for those that are brand new.
Hi. Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Thanks for spending time with us. We've got a good topic for y'all today. For those who are new, I'd just like to go ahead and put out a disclaimer. We talk our minds. And we're not going to really apologize for it.
So what we're trying to say is we're straightforward, we pull no punches, and there is going to be no bullshit.
Yeah, we're pretty blunt.
But before we get to all the bluntness, let's take care of our sponsorship. Big shout out.
Rhea! They did our grab the other side, please. They did our Ultra belt. Very nice. Very sharp.
Our Ultra title belt.
Bling bling. And thank y'all. We love the shirts.
In case you cannot,
love the belt.
In case you cannot see it, I don't know if Steve has posted it yet. On my side, it has.
Your side of it.
No, on this side right here, I'm talking about one of my side.
Okay.
My side over here has Alyssa, but on her background, she has the Roman Reigns.
Of course.
And of course, you know, it was made notice that it's in the writing of the Bloodline.
Of course, because who else?
Steven somehow has the trifecta of Bianca, Jade, and Naomi.
Want to give that another shot?
No.
That's Sasha, not Jade.
Okay, well, don't do that. That's kind of rude.
Jade's on her way to earning it.
Okay. You know, you can explain your own side, then I'll explain. And then I have mine that has the Cody Rhodes emblem in the back, and it's in the subscript of like American Nightmare. And then
we have an Ultra plate.
Exactly. So yeah, everybody has their own plate, and woohoo! And I can tell you, I'm sitting next to the two-time winner. So I'll give this to you.
Oh God. Okay.
And I'll let you explain your victories. Excuse me. Let me put some respect on that.
Y'all know how this goes. Top rope spoilers. We do picks for each premium live event, and by the end of the season, we kind of just whoever has the most points is the OTRA winner. And my first season I won outright, and the second season I tied with
the
OTRAs, but I was still the champ. So I guess by what is it by?
Well, champions rules. In the event of a draw, the champion retains.
So I retained.
But I'll put some photos up on here for those that have been asking about it. But either way, let's move into the topic in question. I'll lead in and then just let y'all take the wheel here. But as you can see from the side of things, of course, we're all familiar with the current storyline that is running between Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio, and now the reemergence of Mommy Rhea Ripley. So now that the storyline has started to reach the culmination where potentially cheaters might have been caught, or the revenge taker may now have found herself in a bit of issue, we move into more of a different topic. Now, Liv Morgan just celebrated her 10-year anniversary with WWE and NXT, and we all saw her from the young Jersey girl, you know, who was trying to make it through NXT as part of the Riot Squad. Mm-hmm. But now you move into the story where she moves into the main roster. No one expects her to be anything more than a glorified curtain jerker or a mid-carder at best. But then here she is cashing in Money in the Bank on Ronda Rousey, has 3 pinfall victories over Ronda during her time here, and also has pinned 3 out of the 4 horsewomen since their time here, Sasha being, of course, the only exception because she's not here anymore. So now you look at Liv Morgan's storyline, though, in terms of essentially not just hurting people, but also trying to take your boyfriend. And when you've got little girls who now at this stage have modeled themselves for the last decade after Liv Morgan, those little girls that were 5, 6, 7 years old are now teenagers and are seeing Liv Morgan acting like this on Monday Night Raw and at premium live events. So coming from a female perspective, is this someone you want your daughter or, your nieces or anyone else emulating anymore.
No.
So that's where I hand it to y'all to take the wheel. If you're in the chat, throw your comments in here, and we'll throw it in here as we go.
You have to understand, I started out watching Liv on NXT, where she had her hat backwards, she wore cool clothing, she had pink hair, she was Liv Morgan, she was great, she was awesome. I loved her, I know the fans loved her, and out of everybody in the Riot Squad, she is, not saying the other Riot Squad members didn't come a long way, I'm just saying out of all of them, she has held, the women's titles, which is saying a lot. But also now looking at it from the other perspective, if I have a goddaughter, and so I'm going to take it just from my perspective, and Alyssa, you could speak on, the people who look up to you, the young girls who look up to you, and say, would you, if they were watching, this interaction, and they had been watching Liv, and they had followed Liv, and they had, cosplayed and role modeled themselves and emulated everything she was doing, would you want them to emulate past Liv Morgan, middle of the road Liv Morgan, or now Liv Morgan? I can tell you, if my goddaughter were to watch PLEs and Raw and SmackDown, and they saw the Liv before, yes, I'm okay with that. Backwards hat, cool jeans, pink hair. That's cool. Who wouldn't want to emulate that? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Middle of the road, when she started playing Harley Quinn, and she started, that trend, that to a degree is cool too. But now you have to look at it, and you have to go from past Liv to middle of the road, and we also understand that Harley Quinn is a totally different beast. But moving into what I would prefer, they model themselves after that, as far as Halloween goes, but not really compared to what I'm seeing now, and how to me, I feel like she's chasing after a man that don't want her. What girl would want to chase after a man that don't want her? I can tell you, pathetic, undesirable, unwanting little girls who clearly, want attention, and they might have daddy issues. I do not know. But that's just me. And I would not, I do not approve of what is taking place and what is going on, and, how I know she's not stupid. I know. Because if she was, she wouldn't have put, to what I feel, this whole scheme together to get under Rhea's skin. She put her out of commission. Okay, took her title. Okay, taking her man. Now, do you want sloppy seconds? I wouldn't want sloppy seconds. That's sloppy seconds, in my opinion. After mommy has had him.
Well, she was the one who came out and said, "I'll have thirds, fourths, fifths, and sixths if that's what it is."
That shows you the desperation right there. That shows you the desperation. And I'm sorry, I've never been one to be desperate or needy or clingy, and I don't know anybody that is. So to me, Alyssa, please take this before I, put my foot in my mouth, which,
Okay. To start out, I agree with what y'all started by saying. You have to keep in mind, and this is coming from just a straight, looking out for the youth, perspective, and also looking at the people who have grown up watching Liv, because every girl grows up and watches WWE, and is like, oh, I want to be like Alexa Bliss, or oh, I want to be like Charlotte, or I want to be like, Tiffany now, and every other superstar out there. And there have been the kids who have grown up and been like, I want to be like Liv Morgan. And I think it did start out harmless, with the jeans and the pink hair and backwards hats and all that, and that's great. I think everybody's found themselves emulating after somebody, but I feel like it gets I don't want to say dangerous, because if you're in the correct, if you have guidance at home, then you don't really have to worry about it, because when I say guidance, I mean parents, my parents. We can take them for example. Clinton would never let me go out in some of the clothing that they wear. And I get it. It's ring gear. Fine. But, like, Clinton would never. Like, some of the stuff she's worn, the things that she says, my dad would flame me. Oh, you want seconds, thirds, fourths, fifth? Oh, you like that? Oh, okay. We just out here for anybody. Oh, okay. So it's like, if it's within like a censored thing, but some people don't like view wrestling as a storyline and stuff like that. Some people take that junk seriously. So like, if you have, like, say you have like a single father and you've had your daughter looking up to wrestlers and like media and stuff as like her guideline for women, because for a long time when my parents are split up, for a long time we didn't have, me and my sister, we didn't have like a female like in the house all the time. So we would look at social media. We would get on our little tablets. Little tablet I've been telling you about.
Yeah.
We would get on our little tablet and we would just look at other people. You look at YouTubers, you look at wrestlers, you look at whatever you're into. You look at singers, whatever you're into. YouTube, whatever, whatever floats your boat. In this case, we're talking about the wrestling side. And you're going to look at like one or two people and you're going to be like, I want to be like them. Like, you've seen it in all, like, the WWE promos and stuff. You see little girls dressed up like Charlotte. You see little girls dressed up like Bianca. You have the little braid hat. It goes outside of just her. So, eventually, you're going to start seeing people cosplay as Liv. And you're going to see the little dirty dom and all that. Like, you're going to see all that. And it's like, at what stage is it like, okay, we need to kind of
bring it back,
tone that down, because it goes past just her, chasing after Dom. At some stage, that's going to look like it's okay because it's still going on. Like, now we finally have mommy back. Now we finally have her back, like, and you see Liv running for her life. But before that, it was just all good and like, oh, I'm just going to chase around him. I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to pop up where he's supposed to be.
I'm going to take his clothes.
That's not okay. Like, it's not okay.
It'd be different if y'all were actually together and y'all were actually an item. Y'all were actually storylines together. Right. I mean, I'm not saying the storyline is not meant for y'all to be together, but if it was storyline and it was a natural thing, then I guess it would, it still wouldn't be okay. But
right, but it's more...
Now it's just a natural thing, and it doesn't seem like you're coming off as clingy, needy, wanting, and the fact, I'm looking at the fact that somehow, some way, every time you look up Priest or Finn or JD or now even Carlito is catching you in the act, and she's doing it on purpose. And then you could see when she does it on purpose, the way she looks at Dom and how you could tell Dom is uncomfortable, and you could tell he's tried. But trying is not really being successful in this matter. When you try, that means you've ended it. It's done. It is over. You do what Naomi did to Mandy Rose when she was here.
That girl was ready to jump through that thing.
That's how you end it. But you also see that Naomi handled it differently. She let Jimmy try to handle it, and then she said, "Okay." And Jimmy's like, "You know what? This is just, I'm not doing this." And he brought Naomi. Smart thinking. Mommy was not here for that, but you could definitely tell she had seen it while she was away, and that rubbed salt in the wounds, and it rubbed her the wrong way. I'm just saying, hotel key cards, showing up in his clothes, showing up in the locker room or the boys' playhouse or whatever they want to call it, because I mean,
what do you say? Buck wild.
It's just, to me, it's just accosting and appalling that you could have this storyline, but that's not me here. I'm speaking for girls and youth and the ones that think it's going to be okay.
That's actually a nice segue into some of the stuff that we're seeing here in our comments. Essentially, what we're trying to look at in this perspective is if you are, let's say, a parent of a particular person who you know, you had a daughter who's, you know, 4, 5, 6 years old,
Right.
got into wrestling at a very young age and decided that Liv Morgan was going to be who she's going to emulate her life after. Everything Liv Morgan does, she wants. When a new hat comes out, she wants it. When she has a new shirt, she wants it. Every time she has a new outfit, she wants it. You know, and you've let it because Liv Morgan has been that positive role model for this young girl for this entire life. Now all of a sudden, she has based almost her entire life and her identity on Liv Morgan, and now Liv is running a storyline where essentially she is chasing a taken man, encouraging hotel room visits, encouraging her to take his clothes, then have him strip them off her after she had, you know, in the middle of the locker room, very uncomfortable. All I'm going to say, and I'm going to defend my gender here once, if the roles were reversed gender-wise, Dom would have been locked up 12 episodes ago. But yet Liv gets to dance around the locker room as if this is perfectly fine. And not only that, you're also encouraging this by putting the world championship on her.
Yeah.
She is your top women's wrestler on that brand, and this is how she acts. So when you have had a young lady, let's jump into parent/godparent perspective here. When your little girl has emulated, Liv Morgan is her identity, and now Liv's acting like this, what on earth do you do from the parent perspective?
I know from the parent perspective, and I've heard, and this is kind of taking the words out of Eminem's mouth when he used to put his music out, and he used to just be very, his stuff was always very diverse, very inappropriate, as people would say. He would say, if you don't want your kids looking at it, or you don't want your kids listening to it, then don't buy it. Don't let them go see my concert. Don't buy the ticket. Don't buy the music. Give them no way of being able to access, just don't. So from this perspective, I would hate to say it, and from that perspective, if I had a little girl living in the house and she was trying to emulate Liv, old Liv is fine. But no, ma'am, you're not emulating, new Liv. I'm not buying the wig. I'm not buying the tattoos. I'm not buying the clothing. I'm not buying it. Your dad's not buying it. Nobody in this house is going to buy it. You ain't getting that, and you're not emulating what she's doing.
That's not right.
You could hold the title. We'll buy you a nice little title to be cute. But that's all you're going to carry of that girl's name. You're not carrying anything else because it's not appropriate.
And I think that's easier said than done because we live in the age of social media now.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Kia and I, existed in a time before the internet. Showing my age here a little bit, but we existed in a time where the internet and social media and being able to access the stuff. But now it's all at your fingertips. Every little girl, starting at age 12, 13, 14 years old, they all have a cell phone. They all have virtually unlimited data sources, unlimited media sources. It's impossible to protect them from every single thing, which means if she wants to see Liv Morgan, she's going to see Liv Morgan.
Well, let me put it for you
with or without the parent go-ahead in a majority of these situations.
Let me put it for you like this. If I can take a cell phone from my 18-year-old son, I will take a cell phone from... first of all, why are you giving your kid a cell phone to begin with? First of all, who do you think he was? Do you pay for cell phone? Huh?
Stay on topic.
No. No. So, I mean, you're not getting a cell phone.
They getting a little flip phone, like Alyssa.
No, chip phones or whatever. But you ain't getting a phone. You ain't, no. You're not catching it on the internet. I will block Liv Morgan.
Jitterbug.
No, for real. No joke. I will block every access that you would have to Liv Morgan in the name of being under my roof because you don't pay no bills in this house, so you follow what I say. And if I say you cannot watch or see Liv Morgan, it's going to be what it is. Now, if you go to school and that happens to be what's going on, that's I can't stop what happens at school. I'm not going to do that.
Now, I mean, but I think the whole idea of where we're going with this and what they're wanting more information on is, from your perspective, is essentially like when this girl has, basically said, like, Liv Morgan is everything that she wants to be. After you've let her, essentially spend 7, 8, 9 years basing almost her entire identity off of that. And also, we can flip the script as well. how are you portraying this, if you are the mother or the godmom of a young son who's watching as Dominic is getting stuck in all the middle of this, Because like I said, it's being portrayed by WWE as all of Liv's actions being perfectly okay. If the genders were reversed, Dom would have been locked up in the first episode. The moment he took her clothes, he's in jail. So why is the stereotype or why is the stigma different because it's Liv?
It shouldn't be where it should be different, because if it happens to happen to Dom, okay. If it happens to happen to Liv, I feel like, and I'm probably going to be in the minority, it should be 50-50. It should be equal. It should be, hey, if it happens to Dom, it should happen to Liv, but somehow, some way, it's at this point, it's a double standard, but the double standard is flipped to side with the female instead of the male. So it's a screw job for Dom. Because you're right, if Dom would do some mess like this, he'd be back behind bars where he was when he started his storyline.
But now you're essentially putting her in a position to where, now you're a little girl who, exactly, it's everything's justified. If you want the man, go get him. It doesn't matter if he's supposed to be off limits. It doesn't matter if, that I'm champion, therefore I can do whatever I want. So it's encouraging potentially these little girls who are too young to distinguish that storyline from reality, that idea that, if Liv Morgan can do it, I can go do it in my middle school or in my, high school, and everything's going to be perfectly fine.
I think I get more concerned because, look at Argyle.
Mm-hmm.
I think I get concerned just because you're not only seeing it here in WWE, like with Liv. You hear it in the music. Yeah. I'll take your man. It's everywhere. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? I think you'd have to have a conversation this is not normal. Somebody will mollywop you if you come and try and take their man for real. In real life, this would not be a thing. Don't sit here and fall into the trap.
Because TV
don't get it twisted.
TV's gonna have you messed up, and
TV gonna have you busted up and crusted.
No,
that's what that is.
For real. It's gonna have you hurt. And I'm sorry, I do not want to see anybody hurt, any girl that's following this storyline. And that's all it is. It's a storyline. But to me,
yes, but you also you just got to watch out and take that extra step for the younger ones, because child.
It is, and then the thing is, in case y'all hadn't noticed, a lot of the facial expressions and the giggles and the hee and stuff, that shit's not funny. That's not funny. You don't see Dom, you don't see Priest laughing. He
was when Dom got caught.
Oh yeah, when he got caught.
That's justified.
But outside of that, Priest is does mommy know about this? The thing is with that, the fact that we all sat here, well, I didn't, probably Alyssa didn't because we knew better. Yeah, I'm talking it over with Rhea, this, that, and the third, and then Priest gets on the phone with her and finds out.
Oh, that's funny. I talked to her. She said she ain't talked to
you at all. So from that perspective, you have to think of the kiki and the hee and all this stuff that Liv is doing. And I get it. Dom is trying to stop it, but it's not stopped. It's not halted. And now you have mommy back in the picture, Monday Night Mommy or whatever. And you have to understand, Rhea is going to literally take notes on everything. And in case you didn't see Raw Monday, go back and take a look. Normally, Rhea, when she comes out and she does her entrance, she does her stomp, her kick and stomp.
But she does all that. That girl was on the way. She said she'll be there in a minute.
She was literally standing on her business of, oh, is this how we do it? What is it? The rats will play when the mouse is away or whatever? Is that what this is?
What is it?
While the cat is away, the mice will play.
That's what I meant. But she was not about that. She was not happy. There was no way Dom could explain it, because if you were gonna explain it, you would have done it from jump. You would have talked to me from jump. It would have been what it was. But you've let her, for the last couple of weeks that I've been gone, just literally skirt around the fact that she thinks that, now that she's got me on a plate, she's yours, or you're her.
Now moving into the last segment, though, you mentioned Monday Night Raw, this from our perspective at the time of this recording 2 nights ago.
Yes.
And anybody who went onto WWE social medias or stayed on Peacock afterwards, saw the backstage of Liv Morgan looking through the curtain after she ran off, watching as Dom was getting berated and being essentially drugged to the back by Rhea Ripley. And she's looking through the curtain, but then turns back, looks at the camera, and basically just smiles and snickers and walks off.
Now,
giving off the vibe that it was never about Dom. It was just her way of getting under Rhea's skin, and that all of this was just a game, which makes the fact of what Liv is doing as
even
this potential role model to these young girls, like, I can do it, and
so can you.
Yeah, and
it's not even for anything for real.
You know, I don't even want him. You know, I just don't want you to have him.
And see, that's a sad fact.
That's childish. If anybody's watching, that's childish
and petty
and deplorable
and despicable
and not cute. We'll just be blunt.
It's not.
It's not cute.
If anything, it's
childish and petty
and deplorable. And we'll leave it at that because I can't have a slick mouth for another show. So
you see me trying to keep it right here. I'm keeping it right here. I'm keeping it right here because this really is a message to the little kids. Like, don't always take what you see at face value. Like, you can't always just believe the first thing you see. It's kind of like, oh, I believe anything that comes off the internet is true. Like, no.
We believe in Joe Hendry, but this right here,
we believe in Joe Hendry. But in all seriousness, like, you can't always just, oh, this is a good person, you know. Be mindful of who you watching. Be mindful of who you letting your kids watch.
Right.
Be mindful of what the actual goal is behind everything. And I'm not just talking real life. I'm talking about conspiracy too. But we're not gonna get into that. That's a whole nother can of worms. That's a whole nother can of worms. Hey.
I'm just saying, I want to see the fallout. I want to see how Rhea reacted. I mean, we kind of started seeing how she reacted. I want to see what is going to be the knockdown, drag out, fallout situation. I want to see the end results of this. You have to think, Finn has tried to, skirt the issue by taking the key cards. JD kind of just followed along. Carlito, I don't know what Carlito's been doing besides trying to be cool. And then Priest has literally tried to say, hey, talk to Rhea. And now that Rhea is back, now you want to talk. And what did Steve say? There's going to be something that's going to happen. And then at that moment is when that she will come out. And of course, compromise. He was compromised. And what happened?
Well, I mean, think about it. She gave him the one thing that for the last year plus he's wanted. And that was she found a way to get him a win over his quote-unquote deadbeat dad. It's something that he had 3 separate attempts, including twice at WrestleMania. Both times failed. Mm-hmm. Also was beaten on Monday Night Raw in a previous match between the two of them. But in his 4th attempt to finally get one up over his dad, it's Liv Morgan, not Rhea Ripley, and the rest of Judgment Day, who is able to get him over the hump to get it there. So in a moment of ecstatic happiness, he caved.
Yeah, he really did.
And you could tell he was trying to fight it off. You could tell he got lost emotionally in the moment. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's when Rhea appears and like every good Lifetime movie, of course that's when the angry, bitter wife now walks in, is right when the man has been doing good up to that point, but then when he's about to cave is when she shows up.
Don't cave.
I just
don't care about it being emotional, okay?
Right, don't. I know it's harder than you think, but really if you've been trying to do the right thing from jump and you knew that there was another person, then it would be easy. But I can't speak unless I'm put into the moment. You know what I mean? So for what is to come, I can't wait to see. I just want to know how it's going to play out. What is Rhea going to say to Liv? What is Liv going to say? And you know how Liv says the revenge tour? Did we think about the revenge tour has nothing on the brutality tour? That tour will.
I'm so excited.
That tour will like stump, crush, break, bust you open. You on that bus. You on that struggle bus.
Good luck.
Well, also, and the one thing I'm going to say in Dominic's defense, and I'm going to end it at this, before we y'all give a preview of next week, is essentially if you notice the difference in Dominic's demeanor over the weeks that he had been trying to, quote-unquote, handle the Liv Morgan situation, with every week he was gaining a little more confidence because he has this young lady who is consistently chasing him. And while, yes, it was irritating and, yes, it's annoying, you could also see his confidence building as a singles competitor. You could see him building off, himself not just being a part of Judgment Day or just being, Daddy Dom or anything like that to Rhea. But then the moment Rhea comes back out, his head is down. He looks dejected. Now, whether that's you got caught and your ass is grass and you know it, that remains to be seen. But what about the flip of the script? What if Rhea, meanwhile, behind the scenes, has actually been the one beating up on Dom, and maybe Liv was the outlet for Dom along the way? So there is another possible side that this story could show here, to where ultimately, while the ends don't justify the means of what we've been talking about here, Dom may see why Liv was doing it to try to save him from what was Rhea Ripley, because who would know Rhea better than Liv after winning tag team gold together just a few years before?
That's food for thought. And I know that'll be the moment that Rhea decides to join for the tea 1 week.
She's like, no. We're gonna be like, wait.
Hey, if she wants to pop in here, we'll happily hit that accept button and let her come in and tell her side of the story. But that's some food for thought for y'all that's in the chat, or if you're watching this later on YouTube. But we do shows pretty much weekly now. Y'all are going to try to devote, I think, Wednesdays to trying to see what y'all can do to do a show each week. Obviously, it's not always going to be perfect, but we're going to try our best. But a little taste of next week, a special 2-part episode.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The first part is going to be kind of a debrief of, Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Specifically, how Drew got the briefcase and kind of kept their storyline going, and our opinion on that, and if we feel like that should have been the case or not.
Yeah.
Who we think should have won.
Well,
Jay.
with Jay, I picked Jay to win. And one of our top rope spoilers, I picked him to win. And I think everybody across the board from internet, the social media, picked him to win. But that's
we fumbled the ball on that one. But we don't mind our business. We don't get paid to write it, so it's fine.
No, we didn't fumble the
Somebody
ball.
would like to.
Okay, first of all, I didn't fumble the ball with my pick. WWE fumbled the ball by the BS, because we gonna put it out there. Money in the Bank was not what we expected. Let's move on.
Not even close.
Nope.
And then the second part was...
Y'all are basically going to be doing basically a comparison of the 3 triangle relationships that kind of are in. So this will kind of piggyback on the conversation we're having today with Liv, Rhea, Dominic, but then also bleeding into Drew McIntyre and his rivalry with CM Punk. And now how Seth Rollins has been drug into it as collateral damage.
With Damian Priest being thrown in there too.
And you understand that if you have not been living under a rock, Seth has a short list of people he doesn't like, and CM Punk is one of those people he don't like outside of Riddle. Yeah. So we will be actually speaking on that, a deep dive into that sometime next week. But for all who has joined us and all who will continue to join us, we thank you. We love you.
Thank you.
We will see you next week.
Thank you again,
thank you for the shirts.
We love our belt.
We do. And we hope to see everybody who was here this week. But, tell your friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
And also interact, because I'm telling y'all, we're going to have a time. We're going to have a time. Either way, in all seriousness, it's time.
With that being said, we out because we're about to go ice cream and cheesecake.
Bye!
Now, pour the tea.